booktube, welcome back to my channel. Today I just wanted to share with you the 12 or so books that are on my January TBR. If you haven't watched my goals video, you could pause this video and go watch that one. In my goals video, I talk about a few things that I'm going to mention in this video here today. One is that one of my goals is to read 150 books, and to do the math, that means reading 12 books every month for 6 months and 13 books every month for the other 6 months. And so I decided that, my other goal that I wanted to try to meet this year is to keep up with my TBRs. So if I say the book is on my TBR, I want to be able to read it. So even though I have other books coming in, books that I give to myself or I'm gifted by other people, or books that come from publishers, or books that were maybe not on my radar but I realized that I need to read for some other reason in that month, I want to have some freedom to be able to add things to my TBR. But I also want to have structure. So the 12 books that I'm looking at reading in January are: first, for the Run Right Reads book club, the goal in January is to read books that center on the Caribbean experience. So books that are written by Caribbean authors or are set in the Caribbean or highlight the Caribbean. So every month I'm choosing a region and reading 2 books from that region or territory, and using it as a point of comparison to experience the place. In January, we're starting with Guadeloupe. And so the 2 books that we're reading in January, first is The Bridge of Beyond by Simone, Schwarz, Bart, and this one is translated from French by Barbara Bray. The other book is The Wondrous and Tragic Life of Ivan and Ivana by Maryse Conde, translated by Richard Philcox, who's the author's husband. And those 2 books are for the Run Right Reads book club. The other book, book number 3, is the Obama Memoir, the Obama Tome, A Promised Land, which I started reading in December and hoped to have finished by the end of December, but I only got about less than 200 pages in December. So the bulk of this book is in my January TBR, and so it's here. It's also the book that I'm reading right now and hoping to finish today. More on that later. So that's number 3 on my TBR. Number 4 is Some Tame Gazelle by Barbara Pym. I am participating in this Voxer reading group where one of the things we're doing is reading through the works of Barbara Pym and Muriel Spark. And I hadn't read any Barbara Pym before, but we started in December. We read together one book, and I went and read another book, and I absolutely love Barbara Pym's writing. I think it is so engaging, so infectious, so immersive, and exactly what I needed at the time that I was reading / listening to the audio versions. So I'm going to continue reading more Barbara Pym. This one is for the group, but I'm also planning to read all her works this year. I didn't mention that in my goals video somehow, maybe because I'm not sure if it's a challenge to complete this year or not. But Some Tame Gazelle by Barbara Pym is for my buddy read for that group. Number 5, I am reading Cuba, A Little History by Richard Goff, and that is to participate in a challenge, I think, being hosted by Doris from Aldi Books. I'm not sure if it's a challenge, but every year Doris has a project where she picks a region and she reads books that come from that region. And she does this in January every year, and I wanted to join her, especially since her region this year is Cuba, which is a part of the Caribbean. So I am reading and going to be discussing that with her and with Heidi. And I do have a novel by a Cuban author that I had planned to read for the Cuba challenge, but reading this one gives me an opportunity to discuss with Doris and Heidi. And so, and also because it's history, I feel like I'm going to learn something. Whether it's written by a Cuban native or not, I don't think. It would have been better if I was reading a book by a Cuban native, but for the purpose of this exercise, I didn't have one, and it's fine. I don't have a physical copy yet. I ordered a copy and it's coming. It should be here tomorrow. As well as the Maryse Conde book I ordered. It's coming to me. I don't have physical copies of those yet. The 6th book on my TBR is Small Island by Andrea Levy. This is for another book club that I'm participating in called the Unnamed Book Club. And it's a group of us, and we alternate choosing books. And Small Island is my suggestion because it's a Caribbean author, and also not just because it's a Caribbean author, but this is a book that won the Women's Prize, I think, for fiction a few years ago. And I've been wanting to read it, haven't read it yet, and I thought it would be a good way to push myself and to see if other people would love to read it. I think one of the people from the book club has already read it, but she didn't mind rereading it with us, so that's great. Book 7 on my TBR is Silver Sparrow by Tayari Jones, and this is to meet the challenge that Doris and I have set ourselves to read Jacqueline Woodson's book recommendations, and we're going through that list, I think in the order that the books are listed, and this was the first book that we both hadn't read yet. Silver Sparrow, I'm listening to an audio version of this one from my library as well. Small Island, I didn't mention. I keep not telling you why I don't have the books. I'm ordering a copy. I haven't yet. I have a couple of options about where to get it from, and so I should have a copy before I need to read it for the book club. Book 8 on my TBR is Beauty Among Ruins, and this one is a gift from the publisher. This is an arc that I got to review, and this one is an American heiress who goes to England and Scotland in the early 1900s, 1914, and I think this is going to be a really good escape after finishing the presidential memoir. So this, I think, is maybe going to be next on my list after I'm done with Mr. Obama's book. And World of Wonders, I'm not sure of the name of the author right now, but that is to participate in the Book Naturalist Book Club, also being hosted by Doris and Heidi. And I wanted to say Doris from All the Books and Heidi from My Reading Life. And the Book Naturalist Book Club is reading nature books, which I love. I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to participate every month. I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to read this book and participate this month because I don't have a copy of the book. It's out of stock on Amazon, which I think is the fastest way for me to get a book ordered. And they don't have it. My library doesn't have an e-copy. They have physical copies, but I don't go to the library in a physical way anymore. So I'm not sure I'm going to get a copy of the book for January, but it's on my TBR just in case I have access to it. Book number 10 is a book that I have a physical copy of, but I'm not sure where it is right now. It is Black Futures, and it is also Roxanne Gay Book Club's Audacious Book Club. That's her pick for January. And I got a copy as a gift from Penguin Random House, and I've wanted to read it since I got it, and I haven't been able to yet. So January is the month. Black Futures is on my TBR. Book number 11, I have a placeholder, Indie Press Project. I don't know the title yet. Indie Press Project was a project that I participated in a couple of times in 2020 and want to continue doing in 2021. And that is being hosted by A Time to Read. And every month there's a different independent publisher that we want to support. And so we read a book from their catalog and talk about it here on YouTube. And I don't know the name of the press yet for January, so I don't know which book yet. Of course, I'm going to read. But Indie Press Project in January, as well as respecting my TBR from last month and I think the month before, I want to read this book, Confederates in the Attic by Tony Horwitz, because this was a book that my husband recommended and I can't believe I still haven't read it. I did read a few pages in December and I wasn't able to finish. I just had so many other things going on. But I'm not going to continue. When I put a book aside, I don't usually continue. I usually go back to the beginning. So this is not a carryover book for me. Although I did carry over books. I'm not ashamed about that. But this is going to be a new book, new read, because I have to start from the beginning. So those are the 12 books that are on my January TBR. I'm expecting to get other books from publishers that I'll probably add to this. But those are the 12 books or book categories that I'm reading from in January. But I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. If there's one book on your TBR that you get to in January, what will it be? Thank you so much for watching this video. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more. Let's chat in the comments. And until next time, happy reading. Bye.